Good morning, my powerful MVP family. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, as long as there's life, there's hope, yes? This is your girl, Miss Bev, with yet another video. Um, got up this morning. Yesterday I didn't do a video. I had done a video early and had it released for yesterday evening. But I guess, I don't know, I didn't feel encouraged. I read up some things and wanted to do the Black history of Jamaica, but it didn't flow. So I did release it. It went up, and then I deleted it. I also did a video on spice, and maybe the thoughts, what I really wanted to say. I know our children are so impressionable, and when we have a lot of kids, they look up to basketball players. Doesn't matter how shady the past of these people are. It doesn't matter. They just see this person out there dribbling a basketball and they want to be like them. And a lot of times, some of them do give back, but it's not from the heart. They give back because of tax reasons and, like we could write this off, we could write that off, and so it's not a genuine from the heart kind of a thing. So when I saw Spice, I saw all these years, yeah, she probably do a little, but Jamaica, it's not just about the city areas that are developed and the kids have access to stuff. It's also the rural towns that you have some awesome minds just crying out for support. And so I did the video, but then I took the video down. Because again, sometimes you see things a certain way, but many others don't see it that way. And it's okay. But I just didn't get that good vibe, because I really didn't think that she was genuine when she wanted all of a sudden to be in to visit the schools. I just thought that she needs to build her brand. And who better to do it than these teenagers who are lost and trying to find themselves and are just going out there doing whatever. So they're watching them on TikTok. They're seeing the behaviors they're displaying. They're seeing what they're bringing to the table. And who better to come to sell my raunchiness, to sell my explicit stuff than these young children. So that was my take on it. But, I got up this morning and, Kayla went away for the weekend. She came back Sunday evening and it was a little kind of happy to see her back, but, there are other things. But God knows all things, and we put them in His hand and we said, you work it out, Lord. I can't do it. I won't fight a battle. I'll just let Him fight the battles. But, there's seeds on the papaya. And so that's papaya this morning. I'm going to enjoy some papaya. I hope you all saw the mango short video. Those mangoes were so good. They were so good. They were so good. Kayla came back and we got down into what was left. She did get some before she leave. And I saved some for when she returned. And yesterday she came in from school and she said, mango time? And I said, yep, go enjoy your mango. So this is your girl, Miss Bev, with yet another video. This one I got up and I want to do some poems of Black History Month. I wanted to show you what I do to keep myself active while I'm here, because I really don't go on the street too much. But as I encourage us to just keep moving. And so I do my chair exercises, and I do my walking. I wanted to walk around, but the grass is so uneven. Sometimes you step and your foot goes down into a soft patch that is, the grass makes it looks even, but when you step, there's a lot of holes, so I don't want to sprain my ankle or break a bone, so I kind of stay where the ground is solid, and I do my walking, guys, from this front door straight to the back door, and I did my laps back and forth, and so it is that I keep, busy, listen to my music. If I just turn this quickly, you will see that every morning up, and that's my 5 hours of Jamaica Revival music. You guys, if you it's lively, it keeps you singing. It's 5 hours, and so you could do your walking, you could sit in your chair, do your leg lifts, do your slides, do your cross legs, do your arms up, down, out, up, down. You could do all of that, listening to the music and just singing to the music. And that just and as you get up and do your leg lifts and call it a day. I have a trunk that I had built when I came, and so there were no shelves for sweaters or anything. I did get a trunk built along with the hassocks, and so I sit on it. It's at the foot of the bed, and I sit at it. I do my leg lifts. I do my, do your thing however you want to do it. But just continue to keep moving the best way you can and how you can. So I kept wondering, what should I do for a video? And so I was sitting, I went to use the bathroom, and as I sat there, I thought of a video I saw with a lady yesterday. She was talking about something that happened in her past. She was supporting a young lady. And so she was crying and encouraging, and so I thought about that, and as I said, my encouragement to even my students in the classroom was, guys, listen, as long as you have life, there's hope. Sometimes, honestly, when I was in the classroom, I was able to reflect on my life. A lot of scars. My kids keep encouraging me to write a book. Mommy, when are you going to write a book? Right? They keep asking. When I went up the other day, these are what my son presented me with. Mom, I want to hear your story. And these are blank pages that you just need to write. Your birthday thing, how old were your parents, things I have to fill in. It's your birthday. Growing up. What is one thing you miss about being a kid? Did you have a nickname when you were growing up? If yes, how did you get it? Who were your best friends? What were your regular chores? My regular chores were many. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? Well, as an adult, I had a favorite, but when I was a child, there was no such thing. When did we get to eat ice cream? When we went to missionary. When we went to missionary, it was where all the Moravian churches came together. And because our church was the biggest at the time, as a child, it was huge. We had a gallery up there, we had a belfry, we had a pipe organ. It was a beautiful, beautiful church. As an adult, it just looks like a little house on the hill. And that's when they come together, and for missionary, because pimento time, that's when the pimento got done, and Granny would sell her pimento, pounds and pounds of pimento. And from that, you would get some money for missionary Sunday. And then when you go to missionary, the only thing I wanted was an ice cream and a grater cake with the pink on top. That's all I wanted. And another thing was, those candy, it was soft, but they were long and striped. People used to make them in those days. And those are what I loved when I went to missionary. Granny would come home. She bought a little piece of this, a little bit of that. Granny would come home with so many different things to just taste so good. You'll get a little piece at a time, not a big amount, just a small taste. And that was it. It talks about my father. My father, what would be my son's grandparents. But it's a lot to just take notes because they think that I should write a book. And he just feels like if I start taking notes in here, then I will transfer it to the taping, which will be transferred to writing. I haven't even touched it yet because as I thought about my childhood and the many hard things I went through, I have already grown past it and, look back at many who abused me and saw how their reward wasn't good and I as I said, there was a time when, when I was, I think like 16 plus, 17 plus, and when things, I would pray quietly to my father and I would ask him, everybody spoke about him, that he was such a good man, he was such a kind man, how much he loved me and my brother and myself. And I would cry and I would say, why did you leave me here? Why did you have to die and leave me here? And that's how I felt comfort, because when you are, I'm telling people this, when you're not raised by a lot of people, oh, it's hard, let me send my picnic, go get to this one, go get to the one there. And even your own family members, not everybody's going to love you and appreciate you. You come and yet you're doing a lot for them, but they still cannot appreciate you. And it's for no reason. You wonder sometimes, what was the problem? I got older and I regardless of how they were partial and how they from a little girl, the abuses, bad things. But I pushed through. I don't know how I pushed through. I guess I pushed through because, there was, I think, if we had social workers back then who would put ideas in our heads and tell us these things, that maybe we wouldn't overcome it. Those of us in the older age who went through things. I know some people hold on to it. I haven't held on to it. When I started college and was looking at myself in a different light and I would go home, I felt like I could now talk to my family and ask them why. Why? And then, so I was able to forgive them because I was never mean to them, regardless of how it was sitting in the back of my head. When I got the opportunity to leave Jamaica, I reached out and I supported. I got so many letters from Granny, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. And those blessings have really taken me and my children through, So I never held on to it and stayed bitter. I just went on like it was normal, like it was okay. But I think today's children, like even in my school, I see how instead of encouraging children to have a backbone, how social workers make it seem like their life is over because these things happen. Like they don't give them strength. They don't give them give them hope. They just need to keep their caseload. And so the children are, come see me tomorrow. Oh, if so and so. They don't say to the kids, listen, this happened. But what are you doing about it? Let's see how we can change that situation. Because the more they keep them on the caseload and the more they make it seem like they are the only ones going through this, it's the worse the kids become. They just stay victims instead of helping them to be victorious. So as I sat there this morning and I'm thinking back, and I said, I don't want to do my life story about all the bad things that happened to me. I don't want that. I want to talk about hopefulness. And again, the thought came to me, as long as there's life, there's hope. As long as whatever they did to us, they left us with our life, there is hope. I said, there's hope. And believe me, as I got, when Granny died and some of them came around to the thing, and I just looked at them and I was just smiling inwardly. I said, look at you now. Peace and nothing, like nobody would even drink water from you. And look at what you did to me. 6 years old. And you probably was like 20 years old. And you were fascinated with a little 6-year-old. And then look at you. Look at you. Because I tell people, any tear that I cry, God takes care of it. So today I want to give hope. I don't want to sit here and wallow in self-pity and, as long as there's life, there's hope. Let us embrace perseverance. Let us embrace, that strength to know that if we overcome, life is never without its trials. No matter what, it comes in different shapes and forms. And each of us, we face our moments of difficulty, of pain and uncertainty. We all have a story. A lot of us pretend and we try to. It's there. It is there and it is real. But what we do is that we rise above it through perseverance. So regardless of what we go through, these things serve as opportunities for growth, for transformation, and for self-discovery. Even when the path ahead of us seems so dark. Yeah, when I had my children and I told my husband to pack and leave, there were many dark moments because it was hard. It was hard. When you want to go to work, but you have 3 children that you cannot just leave in the house and go. You have to find money to pay somebody to watch them. And in the back of your mind, you're wondering, are they going to care for them in the proper way? Will they abuse them? How am I going to be able to go to work 8 hours each day and then not even thinking about the hours on a train to get to work, the hours to get back from work? How am I going to make enough to pay somebody to watch them for me? And then to find enough from that small income, $250 a week, you got to pay somebody. And then you still have to find food for the children. And you have to put away something to make up to pay the rent. There are many tears. There were many tears because we know, and I knew well, that life is a continuous flow that reminds us that, even through those days, that hope, as long as I had life, there can be hope and there will be hope. And hope is that spark that fuels me to continue to go on. The hope that one day things will change. As my uncle's wife had said to me one day, I was in college trying and I had the girls and everybody's living. I can't blame them for not wanting to just sit and babysit my children while I went to school. I remember the day I had to take off from school, I couldn't go. And she says, don't give up, she says. They're not going to be small forever. And she had said to me, she said, in my time, she said, I had one holding on the hand, walking up my foot. I had one in the other arm on my shoulder up here, and I had one in the belly. And she said, here I am today. They grew up. So hope is not simply a wishful thinking. It's a powerful force that enables us to push through the toughest of times. We have to be hopeful. It is a belief that better days are ahead, that situations will improve, and that we possess the strength to endure and overcome whatever adversities we faced. Resilience is born from struggle. How do we become stronger? How do we become so that we can encourage others? Because in facing life's difficulties, we discover an inner strength, an inner resilience that is built through each setback, each failure, each abusive situation, each vulnerability, each put down by others, each, hatefulness, hateful behaviors, each envious behavior. That's how resilience is born, guys. And just as a tree grows stronger, with each storm it faces, it blows, and stands firm after the storm passes. Some will break, but many more have stand up to those storms. So just like the trees stand up and grow, we also will grow stronger when we refuse to surrender, when we refuse to give up and cry, oh, poor me, oh, I need help because nobody helped me, oh, I need this because they never liked me, oh, and we don't surrender. We refuse to surrender to despair. We find our true strength in our ability to rise after every fall. I told my children this. I said, listen, guys, you will fall down. Don't think that you're just going to go out there and blessings will follow you. Yes, there are more blessings than not. But you will fall. But when you fall, get up. Brush your knees off and continue on. Continue onwards and upwards. Never fall down and lay down there. Fall, yes, and get up. Brush your knees off and keep going. It was the things that happened to me that I was able to become the kind of parent I became. It was the negatives And there's some positives, lots of positives. Because I always, instead of blaming Granny for being, sometimes she was partial. Yeah, she was. But I'll speak fondly of her always because I remember the kindnesses. I remember not having to go to bed one night without something in my stomach to eat. I remembered the efforts she made. I remembered her encouragement for education. I remember that she never, ever say you can't go to school because I have nothing to give you. I mean, you can't go to school because I have figure plant grown and me need you to come help. I have to be thankful she was never that kind of a grandmother. Partial, because I had an aunt who encouraged that. And Granny would say, yeah, you have to, she has to listen to her daughter because the daughter will sometimes have to give her something to eat. So yeah, I had to go on Saturdays. We weren't 7 days, we were Moravian then. And after I cleaned Granny's floor with my little coconut brush, and I clean and redoke the veranda and the steps them and do all what I had to do at Granny, then I had to put on my one little dress and barefoot, run up a Churchill, go help up at my auntie house. Because my auntie had her big shop. She was a seamstress. She had her picnic them. One of them went to Jose Marti High School. They were the work was there to be done. Her house was not such a small house. It wasn't a huge house. It was, I think they had 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. The kitchen, they had a dining room area and they put a stove in there for the kitchen as well. Then you have the living room area and you have the veranda. Veranda was a long veranda. I think they had two verandas. They had joined another part, And I had to go there and go help clean all of that. Whole heap of clothes to wash because I had my auntie, her husband, Danny, Vi, Vern, Annette, Pam, Mikey. Right? 8 picnic? No, 8 people. 6 kids. Let's see. Danny, Vi, Vern, Annette, Pam, Mikey. Yeah, 6 kids and 2 adults. Whole heap of clothes to wash. Whole heap. I mean, if it did in a little young age, young 11, 12, 10, help wash, hang out clothes, lines and lines of clothes, help clean house, help sweep up yard. Whole heap for the, I have to run, go up, they go help. But I thank God, how often she would tell Granny to give up on me. Bright little girl, bright. But me couldn't make no mistake. She want me to be perfect, and her kids are doing the same things, but if I do it, if I laugh about something, then feel said, me shouldn't laugh of it, me an idiot. How are you a laugher? You idiot. Just those kind of things, and it was a constant. I never had a name. With a girl there. When I got older and had to ask her, why did you do those things to me? Why, Auntie? I cannot understand it. You call your children by their names, but I didn't have a name. But just as a tree grows stronger with each storm it faces, you out there who are going through your storms, you must grow stronger and refuse to surrender to despair. Let us find our true strength, because I found my true strength in my ability to rise no matter what. When opportunities came, when I came to America, I came not knowing a darn thing. I came with the shock when I went to America, I was looking like my aunt would live. Like, you hear of America, this great place. I was going to America to see my aunt live in a grand house, in a nice house, and to see squirrels running outside. And I went to the shock of my life when I went. My aunt lived in a one bedroom with a little half bedroom. And you come through the hallway, you walk up to the living room area. There was no dining room. And on the side you had a kitchen. So in the living room there was a table you could eat, and the kitchen was small, just enough for cooking and all of that. And I'm looking for the rest of the house. I'm looking and couldn't see the rest of the house. And in the morning, I remember I went to America in May. It was a little, we went there the night when my mom came and picked us up at the airport. It was rainy. It was a rainy night. So in the morning, we got up to walk. And we walk out, and we said we can go in a circle. So you walk up, you go to that street, you turn on the next street, and you just turn and come right back onto our. And the amount of dog poop, the grass overgrown, and I'm like, this is America? We were in the Bronx. And I said, this is a dirty place. And in her house was nice and clean, but I thought it would have been more. But on the outside, on the street, it wasn't all that. But I was looking for work, and as I tell you all the story, when I went and the lady saw how well my grammar was good, my writing was beautiful, and she said, what are you doing here? And I told her, and she gave me the paper to go where that was my start. So when I came to America, it wasn't family that gave me that thing. It was this woman, a white woman in Manhattan. And she says, no, you have the abilities for better. And she gave me the paper to go to the Poe building. I don't know if it's still there, in the Bronx, on the Grand Concourse. And she sent me there with that piece of paper to start the ball rolling, where I was able to start looking to get my GED. Didn't have a high school diploma in Jamaica, but got my GED. And I went to different schools, went to Commercial Institute, I went to different, but didn't get to do high school, where my foundation would have been stronger. But I went to America, and I didn't go there to look nice and to invest in clothing and name brand this and that. No. With God's grace and the blessings that same grandmother bestowed upon me, God had me covered. And that's where my where it started for me. So we must find our true strength in our ability to rise. And no matter what happens, we continue to rise. Let us remember that hope is not the big thing out there. It's not people coming to drop big load of money in your lap, and that's when you say, yes, now I can have hope, I can go buy this and that. Hope, sometimes it's in the smallest. As I said, when I went to look for work that day, I was only 150 pounds. When I went to America, I was a size 10. And so I could find nice clothing to fit me well. So when I would go, I would really take care of myself. Not name brand stuff, but whatever I put on, they fitted well. And so when I went, there, And that little thing that she gave to me, it was small. It was just a piece of paper. But my hope started there. So it's not about the grand gestures and, I have a job for you paying $500 a week. And, it's not in those things. It's not those things at all. It's not the grand things. It's not at all. Hope can be found in the smallest gestures, the smallest gifts. It's a kind word. It's a smile. It's that chance you can get where you can just sit and have some peace. Like this morning I sat here and I was sitting on the toilet bowl when everything just came to me. And I said, yes, I could talk to somebody about these little moments. The small signs of life and our connections to them. A butterfly flying by, fleeting, so carefree, not a worry. So why am I sitting worrying? It is the small signs of life and connection to life that remind us that even in the most difficult situations, that there's still beauty and joy around. So no matter what you're going through this morning, this day, yesterday you went through it, but today is a new day, you're here. You can see the sun rising. You can see the sun rising. You can feel the warmth. Today it's a little bleaker for us. We're going to have rain, they said. But it's these little things that make the difference. That no matter what you're going through, the put downs, the ungratefulness, the unthankfulness, all of those things, sometimes it gets to you, people come into your life and you do so much. You don't ever think, you don't ever think, because in your heart you always feel like whatever it is that somebody else needs the support, just do. And you do it without looking for anything. And you have people who they don't ever think of giving something back. They just, it's just good. Oh, they have and they have more from plenty and it feels good and they keep taking. They just keep taking. And anytime it gets to the point where you kind of said, wait a minute. Then all of a sudden, you know what they say? They go out and they say all manner of evil. Things that you confided in them with. All of a sudden. And that is why if you look on the community page, it says, have your friends and treat them well. But never, ever have anything to tell them. Never to them. Anything you're going to do, keep it to yourself. If you want to share something, share it with God. Because everybody is nice and sweet and happy and when they're using you. But once you put your foot down, then all of a sudden they forget. So we have to start looking within ourselves and understand that the power lies within us. The positive changes that we want lie within us. We can sit down and mope and moan and blame and hate and At the end of the day, you are the one who every day going to be miserable. Let them worry about it. You forgive, you do good, and keep moving. Don't get the connection and sit around and expect them to be honest and decent and respectful and appreciate anything. You do your good that you do and keep going. Just keep going. So we have to know that the decision for change is within us and that we can build through that. And we should never let go of hope. You know, as long as you find hope, as long as you have life, there's hope, no matter how small. All right? When we hold on to hope, we are opening the door to endless possibilities. Endless possibilities. Hope is the seed of a better tomorrow. That's what hope is. And as long as, again, there is life, hope exists. I'll say it again. As long as there's life, hope exists. There's always a chance for redemption, healing, and change. As I said, when the kid threatened my life in the classroom, and my anger wasn't about the kid. My anger was administration, the way they handled it. They made it seem like it was nothing. How dare you worry about it? What was that for you to worry about? The kid was only joking. This is a troubled kid. Mom got up and walked out, leave the father with her. And the father is raising her, and the father is gone every night to drive truck. And she's left in compromising situations. But nobody looked at the troublesomeness of this kid, of what this kid is going through, and the hate she has for women because her mom left her and never looked back. Nobody's looking at that. Nobody's looking at the fact that this child has an IEP and should have had an adult supporting her. All they're looking at is, oh, so she threatened her, so what? And I am telling you, with all the anger I've gone through in my life, anger against my husband for coming to Jamaica and getting another woman pregnant while I'm pregnant, and then had the nerve to come back, oh, I want my marriage to work, oh, I want my marriage to work. No, that disrespect made me so angry. I said, get up, get out. I said, don't you ever put your foot back in here. And when I saw this lady and see how nonchalant things was, and, you know, Miss I'm Black, you're just stressed. What? I love my job. I'm here. And the anger, I'm telling you, I didn't know how to let it go. I think that thing, if I hadn't gotten therapy, that thing would have taken me out. And my therapist says, people cannot give what they don't have to give. And I use that to just further. I had forgiven my family for a lot of things, but those words gave me more power to just say yes. And I just use those words to cover all the situations. People cannot give what they don't have to give. You do good to people, this is how they behave, ungrateful. I guess if they know better, they do better. So you don't stay stuck, you keep moving. You keep moving. Sometimes we have to listen those around us in order to keep our minds intact. People cannot give what they don't have to give. They make it. And so we give God thanks that we're here. And in closing, I want to say to us, hope is more than just an emotion. It's not just an emotion. It is the very essence of life itself. We have to be hopeful for better. We have to be hopeful for change. We have to have hope. When we hold on to hope, we unlock the power to overcome adversity. We unlock the power to inspire change and to create brighter, more meaningful futures. As long as there's life, there's hope. As long as there's hope, anything is possible. Little Kayla is here. She came to me, couldn't write. I'm not saying she couldn't write. She could copy things and just write it. But for her to write a sentence for herself, didn't know where to begin. Kayla came. She can't add 2 digits. Kayla came. She can't read. She'll sound the letters out, but to put them together, she couldn't do it. She could sound. She could do some little. And now it's to see Kayla, I prayed and I hoped and I'm strong with her, I'm firm with her. Because I tell her I want her to do well. I want her to do well. I said, when life happens and you're getting support, I want you to use that support for greatness. I want her to stay focused. She's a child, she's going to do childhood things, but I pray and I hope. I said, she plays so much. And regardless, like she's here alone with me, but I said, Kayla, you play at school, you play in the classroom, because the teacher's talking about that. And you come home and you just want to play some more. And I understand you're a child, but sometimes you have to know, in order for you to reach to the next level, you got to put away some things and stay focused. You got to know that, my toys are always going to be there. I collect all these bottle covers, and yes, they're always going to be here for me to play with and to do what I do with them. But when I get home from school and after I get my snack, it's okay too to take up my book and look at what we did in school. Grandma doesn't have to tell you every day, what did you do in school? Let's see what you do. You can start taking that initiative. Take up the book, look back at what you did, and see if you can manage it. So I'm encouraging her to be hopeful and to use that hope to drive her inner strength so that she can be successful. She's getting the opportunities. I just want her to use them well. So I know I've just hope that my message today will encourage and empower someone. I wasn't in the mood to do a video. I was not. I just wasn't there. But then the little glimmer of light shone through. And I said, yes, I will talk about, as long as there's life, there is hope. No matter what people do to you, if they didn't take your life, you can be hopeful that you can change a situation. So be good to yourself, my people. Thanks for all of you who have subscribed. Please share the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're just a visitor passing by. Remember to like the video and leave a comment. It's encouraging. So thanks again to all of you who have already done that and continues to watch them and join the conversation. I thank you and I appreciate you for all that you do. Make it a great day by choice.